The Ladies Circle.
Brought to you by Yaz Sanitary Pad, MTN.
Yaz toothpaste and brushes.
Issues, no time to stress on. Ladies Circle. Yeah. This is Ladies Circle.
And we're certainly a country in mourning. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very somber episode of the Ladies Circle. Today, we're dedicating the entire show to mourning 8 sons of the land who embarked on a perilous journey and never made it back home. My name is Helen Apia Ampofu, and today I'm going to need all the reinforcement I can get. Let me say good evening to my co-host for the evening, Sika Osei Douglas, Regina Van Helvets, and Ajwa Noella. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Helen.
Good evening. I don't even know if I can call it a good evening. It's the day after we have finally put all 8 souls to rest, bid them farewell. And today we're here to reflect, we're here to mourn in a bid to heal as a people, as a nation. Together, we can make strides forward. Together, we can chart a path forward. So if you've joined us this evening, know that it's a somber evening and it's for good reason that you stay with us all throughout the hour. Let's reflect, let's mourn, and let's heal. Ladies, how does that sound?
Definitely aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough, but we have to do what we have to do.
All right, we have to do what we have to do. On that very somber note, we'll pause for a quick break. When we come back, the reflection begins. But before that, actually, let me say a very big thank you to our sponsors who make the Ladies Circle happen. Let me say a very big thank you to MTN and to Cousins.
Yes, appreciation also going out to Yaz Sanitary Pad for always holding down the Ladies Circle.
Okay, and a very big thank you going out to Dove for always keeping us looking fresh.
We're not forgetting LA Perfumery for holding us down here on the Ladies Circle.
All right, let's pause now for that quick commercial break. When we come back, we reflect. Don't go too far.
And the song you just heard is by Nasi. He calls it a tribute to the fallen heroes. Just like we said before we went on a break, the entire episode today is dedicated to the 8 fallen heroes, people that died in their line of duty. So today we'll be mourning, reflecting, and healing right here on the Ladies Circle. You're welcome back. Do stay. We have a conversation about everything that has been happening in the past few days, weeks, and we're talking about it right here on the show.
Well, we'll jump straight to say a few thank yous to our sponsors, and the very first one goes out to Yaz Sanitary Pad. Now, no matter the time you're in, no matter your mood, as women, we always are expecting that monthly visitor. And Yaz is saying they have got your back, so you don't have to change your outfits or have to check twice to be sure that you're good. Yaz is saying they've always got you covered. You don't also have to cancel your appointments to prevent any embarrassments from happening. So make sure you choose Yaz and choose right. Now with Yaz, you feel confident with no stress at all. You can go for the Yaz Extra Long, the Yaz Minty, the Yaz Heavy Flow, or the Yaz Herbal. can try the all-new Yaz Minty with extra long sanitary pad as well that makes you feel very comfortable. It also comes in mint with an extra long wings and free panty liners with disposable bags. So like I always say, with Yaz, you know you're always choosing right. So choose Yaz and choose right.
All right, now let's get into the conversation. It's been dubbed Black Wednesday, August 6th, a day that 8 sons of the land embarked on a journey for God and for country and never made it back home. On August 6th, 2025, a Ghana Armed Forces military helicopter took off en route to Obuasi for a very important anti-illegal mining event. On board were 2 ministers, 3 senior political and security personnel, as well as 3 crew members. What was said to be a short journey, not even an hour-long journey, to head to this destination to shed some light on illegal mining, on Galamsey, to put a stop to it, or attempt to put a stop to it, turned into a day of pure tragedy. Today we want to honor the memory of these gallant men, these gallant sons of Ghana, and also reflect and talk about how we move forward as a people. This is a loss not only to Ghana, not only to Africa, but to the entire world. And the tributes, they keep on coming. The commiserations, they've come from far and from wide, from the Pope to many other dignitaries, presidents, prime ministers, all over the world, mourning and commiserating with the people of Ghana. And so to all of us, I say deep condolences. The wound is deep, the scars, they're still fresh, but together we can certainly chart a path forward and make sure that the death of these heroes does not go in vain. So ladies, let me come to you. And Regina, let me start off with you. What was that feeling, you know, finding out that such a tragedy had struck us as a nation, losing such important political figureheads? These are public officials, day in and day out there, performing duties for the betterment of you and I, and for the betterment of the country as a whole. And this has left just such a deep wound in all of our hearts. How did you feel? Where were you? What were your thoughts?
So it was actually my birthday that day.
That's right.
So it was a very sad, I mean, a day that was meant to be a happy day for me, to celebrate the fact that I actually have life, to turn out to be a day where somebody actually is losing their life was a very sad moment for me. And what's weird is I actually saw the helicopter because I live in Achimota. And yes, so when you're going to Kumasi, the Accra Kumasi road, that's where most of the cars pass. They usually use that road. So I'm guessing the helicopter was also on its way to that side. So definitely that's also the same route they use in the air. So I saw it passing and I thought to myself, what's a helicopter doing around this time here, you know? They pass once in a while, but it's not something you see very often. So I just thought to myself, hey, helicopter, okay, and then I brushed it off. So I was just going about my day, and I remember I was headed to work when my driver told me that there's been a helicopter crash. So I quickly went on social media to check, and I saw it, and it just ruined my day completely, you know. And I was just thinking to myself, what is life? 1 minute someone is celebrating their birthday, and the next minute someone is dying, the next minute someone is bringing a child into the world. And the only thing that came to mind was for us to try and live every day to the fullest. No matter what you're doing, just make sure you live every day like it's not promised, because you really don't know when you're going to leave this earth. I don't think they knew that was going to happen, but unfortunately it happened. And it happened in a moment where they were actually serving their nation, serving us as a people. And I think one of the things this teaches me is for us to learn to be very appreciative of people, because they don't owe us that, but they decided to go and, you know, do their duties as ministers and servants of the nation. This happened. And so how are we also learning to appreciate these people who have offered their lives and make sure that we live in a country where we are at least comfortable to some extent, and to make sure things are in place to make sure we have a better life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Sika, I mean, you don't even have to know any of these individuals personally to be impacted by a loss of this magnitude, especially when you think about what it is that they're doing. And we take it for granted when people take up this public duty. But every day they are traversing the roads, they're up in the sky, they have given their lives to serve this country, and anything can happen in the line of duty. Does it make you appreciate the work of public servants more?
Definitely. I think those are aspects of the job we don't necessarily think about. We think about what they do in their positions. We think about how they present themselves, you know, in front of the public, etc. We think about what they say when they go to parliament, and how what they do affects our pockets, you know. As human beings, sometimes we can have a very selfish way of looking at what politicians do. What are they doing? How is it benefiting me? You know, you are judging a politician, how good they are, how impactful they are, based on how it affects you, your home, and your pocket, you know. And in this situation where I don't know if any of us are related to any of these individuals, but putting yourself in the shoes of the wives, the children, the family members, I mean, it just sends shivers down my, like it literally, my heart just broke. You know, and then of course hearing the gory details as to how it happened, you know. Something that went through my mind was, what were their last thoughts? What was their last emotion? What was going through them when this was happening? I could only put myself in their shoes and think, my God, I would be so full of fear seeing my life flash before my eyes. Every I love you, every thank you, every I appreciate you that I haven't said or wanted to say but couldn't get a chance to say. It's just insane. Nobody deserves to go the way that they did. No family deserves to hear the news that they heard. I just think it's so, so sad. Reggie and I were talking about one of the wives that posted about her husband being the breadwinner, about the husband bringing so much benefits. Like this man, you know, held her family. They should have rather taken her. God should have rather taken her. I mean, to hear a woman say that about her husband, it only just allows us to appreciate what kind of man this person was and what kind of men they were. And like you said, there were so many words of sympathy that have come in. It's just a testament to the character of these people. So outside the fact that they're politicians, they're people's dads, they're people's friends. Oh my God, Sam George.
Yeah.
I just broke. I shattered seeing how Sam George just was so deeply, you know, impacted by this. So yes, it does give me more respect. It does allow me to see them in a whole different light, honestly. And it's not even just the people who are so prominent, who we know their names, but the ones that we didn't know their names.
That's right.
You know, you tend to just, I mean, I saw them, I was like, oh my God, such handsome, brave men. I can't believe Ghana has lost this. So yes, definitely more appreciation, and appreciation for the wives and families who supports these men as well, because it can't be easy to think that my husband or my brother or my child can walk out the doors today and not come back. Not to say that it can't happen to any one of us, but obviously, like you said, they were serving the nation, so
That's right.
makes it more impactful.
Ajwa, now we've laid all 8 souls to rest. How do we even begin to pick up the pieces? But before that, how impacted have you been by the news of this tragic incident?
I was actually on my way to TV3, and so I got to LWAC, and I saw the, you know, social media. There was a post, and then I kept scrolling, and I kept seeing. So it just says Defense Minister and 7 others. Defense Minister, 7 others. So I called a friend, and I'm like, "Have you heard what's going on?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, they've seen it, but I mean, now we don't have the necessary details, and so we can't tell." But at that moment, I didn't know how to feel, you know, because then again, like you said, we don't have the details. We don't know if they survived. We don't know what happened. Did anybody jump out? What happened? We don't know. So once I got to the stretch from the DVLA to TV3, I realized that a lot of the military vehicles were going through to the presidency. Then it hit me again. I'm like, oh no, there's something going on. Then I got there, I saw that the policemen were standing in front. There were so many soldiers lined up in front there, and I was like, ugh, just kept hitting. Got to TV3, went straight to the control room, and it was crowded. Like so many people were there trying to break the news, trying to get people from there to speak. And in that moment, I was just quiet. Like my bag in my armpits, I was just quiet, just standing, folded arms. And the same questions were just running to my mind. You know, what was the last word? What did the pilot even say to them in those final moments? What happened? You know, they were almost there. They moved from Accra all the way, just, you know, almost at the place, and then this happened. And who were involved at the point in time. I just wanted to know every single person, what happened, did they survive? And then we saw the press from the presidency where it just announced. It was so quick, so short, mentioned everybody's name. Unfortunately, we've lost everybody. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was just so sad. Because then again, I was just saying, I mean, somebody might have just come by the office and said, oh, you know, I need this done for me. I said, I'm going. I'll be back right now. You know, just wait for me in a few minutes. I'll be back. And then they're not here again. We can even barely identify them. It was just too sad. And then the stories that came after of, you know, how someone was supposed to be on and then they didn't get to go, and then other people had to go on. It was just so many stories that were you know, going around. So for me, it's just too sad. Too sad. You don't have to know them, like Sika said. Nobody just deserves to go this way. And for me, condolences to every single person, friends, family, to all of us. You know, it's a really sad thing that has happened, and I don't think we'll be able to recover from something like this. But we just do pray that, you know, they're kept safe in the bosom of the Lord.
I was taking a nap, you know, as you do every now and again after a busy morning.
Yeah.
And before I'd taken that nap, I'd seen some reports of a helicopter crash. But, you know, these things happen, and I didn't pay too much attention to it. I didn't even know whether anybody had really died or anything had happened. But I woke up, and the first person whose picture I saw was Honorable Dr. Murtala Mohammed, and he likes to be called Comrade.
Right.
And my heart was completely broken because he's somebody that I'd had a chance to have political discourse with and had a lot of respect for. And what a gem, you know, what an awesome human being. And I remember it must have been 2020 where we'd had our first interview on Sunrise on 3FM, and fairly new, you know, trying to find my feet. It can be very intimidating, you know, speaking with politicians, trying to, you know, get some answers. But I remember he made the process so calm. You know, he said, don't call me honorable. I like to go by comrade. And he was just a breath of fresh air. When it comes to integrity, I feel like he embodied what it meant to be a real politician, really focused on the job and really there for the people. He had been working on his PhD all the way from then, because I remember he kept saying, I'm working on my PhD, and he was passionate about the environment, and it was just fitting that he became the Minister for Environment. Recently, he'd had the chance to go abroad, and he was on the floor of Parliament talking about the interventions that we could have in Ghana to ensure that we have a more sustainable environment. And I was just watching in awe, so proud of somebody that I don't even know that well, but I know that he had been working hard. February this year, he officially became Dr. Murtala Mohammed. And I think all that wealth of information, how hard he had been working over the years, just for the people of Ghana to come and share with us what it is that he was learning or what it is that he had learned, it leaves such a gaping hole. And all of these men, you think about Dr. Omane Boama, and he's credited for the NDC's win in 2024. If you ever hear the phrase, activate all body cams, that is something that he would say in reference to being vigilant when it came to elections. A medical doctor who also decided to pursue higher learning in economics. I mean, you think about the brains, the depth of knowledge that we had, the pilots on board, 10 11 plus years experience. You know, when you put all these men together, Ghana was certainly not done with them. Think about Dr. Sapon and how those who worked under him called him father, they called him dad. And you think, this is such a blow. This is so sad. But we forge on as a people, and even having that opportunity to learn from these men, to experience them, we can only be grateful. So we say commiserations, condolences to all of us. Now, we end this conversation by rising to our feet, paying homage in a befitting way to these sons of Ghana.
So now we move on to the myth or truth segment. We have about 4 brief statements. I'm going to read them out and then we'll discuss whether or not these are truths or, you know, they're just myths. And if any of us have had any experiences with any of these statements to attest to that fact, we could just speak to that as well. So first one says, strong people don't cry after a loss. Do we think it's a myth or it's a truth?
I mean, I think it's a myth.
Okay.
I mean, you can either agree or disagree. I feel like the strongest people are those that do not have any fear of judgment. They do not fear to be vulnerable and speak their truth and show their emotion. Strong people are people who understand that they're only human and they have no need to impress anybody. They wear their emotions and their hearts on their sleeves. I think those are actually really the strongest people. So I definitely think it's a myth.
Yeah, I think I agree as well. I don't even think crying should be even categorized in whether it's a weakness or it's a strength. I think it's just an emotion. If you feel like crying, just cry it out. You wake up and then you move.
But medically as well, those people, were you going there?
I was going to say that mental health experts, in fact, doctors will tell you that shedding tears has its medical
benefits.
purpose.
Yes.
So it's not whether you're strong or not, you know, it's necessary. Once you feel that, just let it out and then you move.
And don't we all
from
feel
there.
better after a good hearty
Yes,
cry?
there's just
Physically,
something.
mentally, emotionally, there's a release there. You do yourself a disservice by holding the emotions in.
Yeah, I agree.
Very necessary. Okay, so the second one says, time heals all wounds. Does it really heal or does it just give you time to adjust?
I think I've heard people say it doesn't heal, but you just adjust to the situation. Like, as you go through life and you go through years without that person in your life, you begin to understand that the person is not here. And so they're obviously not going to fill those gaps, but I'm still living, so I just have to go along. So you just get used to the person not being around. You just wouldn't forget, depending on your relationship with the person as well. I don't think you forget completely.
I think it's the same for all of us. We agree?
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't have to necessarily do with loss. I mean, a wound can be caused by a lot of things, by hurts from people. And if it comes to just people hurting you, I do think sometimes time heals that, you know. If somebody decides to betray you, hurt you, leave your life in, as you know, in a certain way, I do feel like if you do give it time, you'll be able to overcome that. But there's certain losses that nothing can heal, certain holes that nothing can really fill.
Okay, and to the third one, it says, talking about the tragedy will make people feel worse. Truth or myth?
I mean, when you say people will feel worse, I think for the person that's going through the tragedy, I think it serves no good to encourage them to bottle it up. It's like any problem that you have. We all have that one friend that has come to us with that same issue over and over and over again because somehow talking about it eases or I think dulls the pain. So nobody should be encouraged to firm it and bemensu and all of that. Just like with crying, you have to let it out. I suppose what would not be beneficial is wallowing in the grief. There's a saying, you su cry, you jai him. So yes, by all means, people should exactly get it out, talk about it, but not in perpetuity. But by all means, we talk about it. That's how we grieve. That's how you remember those who have lost their lives.
Yeah, but I think there should be some wisdom applied to that situation.
Definitely.
I'll take an example. When my husband lost his mom died in his arms. So it was a very traumatic experience for him. And as somebody who's grown up within the Ghanaian culture and seeing how, you know, death and funeral is handled in this part of the world. You know, people come, they cry, they say, due, you know, shedding, things like that. And he just did not want to hear it. He did not want to hear God knows best. He did not want to hear it's going to be okay. He did not want to hear it.
And it's fine.
Right? And I feel like I had quite a rude awakening because I felt the pressure to say something because you're in a space where the silence is so loud that you feel, okay, I have to say something. And he just said, please don't say anything. Because in that moment, he just needed a chest or a shoulder to lie on just to cry. And sometimes silence can be more powerful than words. So when it comes to speaking about things, especially when someone has gone through such a tragic loss like this, I think Honorable, is it Hannah Tete? Is that her name? Hannah Tete. Yes, she was interviewed on the day of, I think she was at Murtala Muhammad's, Dr. Murtala Muhammad's residence, and our dear TV3 journalist presenter said, you know, what do you say to a grieving wife in a situation like this? And she boldly said, there are no words. So you say nothing.
Okay. In that context, I think I completely agree. When it comes to speaking to the bereaved, I agree. And sometimes
it can be very triggering.
In that moment, it doesn't feel like ebeyeye. So I agree that silence can also be a powerful tool. But in terms of allowing the people who are grieving to speak, I think they should be allowed. But I understand.
Okay, and the final one says, grief only affects emotions and not physical health.
That's so untrue.
That is not true.
That's so untrue. I've seen people lose weight, get sick because of the effects of grief, because they've lost their backbone, they've lost their rock. And to go through this world without certain people seems unimaginable. You know, to say grief doesn't affect a human being physically, I think that's a very, I don't know, that's a very wrong saying.
Yeah, because I mean, everything you do physically is as a result of your emotion, like what you feel. Even you eating is what I feel like eating that I'm going to eat. So at that point in time, I'm not in the mood to eat. I don't even want to look in the mirror. I don't care. I don't want to get a haircut. I don't even want to wear, like, it's just how you feel that comes out in the physical. So the emotions are definitely tied to how it's going to reflect on the outside. So that's totally not true from my side as well.
Can I go deeper? They say that there are different stages of grief. You know, the stage of shock, the stage of denial, the stage of... And I actually feel each stage of grief actually affects you physically. There's a physical manifestation as you're going through the journey of grief, you know. And it's okay to embrace that. It's only natural. We shouldn't fight that, honestly, because it actually leads to a healing. And gets you to a place of healing. So, yeah, I definitely think physically.
That actually happens to be the final one for our grief statements on this particular one. We call it the myth or truth segment.
All right, well, now that we have put to rest some of these myths and truth, it's now time for 5 things. I'm going to pass it on to Reggie to be able to break it down, how
Okay. All right, so tonight on 5 things, we're talking about 5 ways to process loss in a healthy way. So the first point is allow yourself to feel. Now, the thing about grief is no one can tell you how to grieve, how to deal with your loss. And so it's really and totally up to you to decide how you want to deal with it. But one thing I can tell you for a fact is that sometimes you would want to cry. There are times where you'd have some fond memories of the person that would make you want to laugh. And, well, I saw on social media where someone was laughing. There was one person laughing. People were commenting, now, why is this person laughing? And I'm sure if you see something like that, you may want to readjust and try to deal with it in a way that people are telling you to, but it's your situation and you are the one that has the emotions at that point. So however it is you feel like grieving at that particular point in time is totally up to you. People may say what they want to say, but it's you, and it's totally fine however it is you want to deal with your grief. Point number 2 is talk about it. And look, like Helen said, talking about it is, Helen, did you say it? No, you didn't.
Yes, talk about it.
You did, right? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
let it out.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, talking about it is so important. Once in a while, you just need somebody to even talk to help you know who to speak to, or the professional person that can give you all the help that you need at that particular point in time, especially when you don't know how to go about it. But please always make sure that you're talking to someone who truly has been through the process of dealing with grief professionally and can really give you the help that you need. And that help can only come when you talk about it to someone that you trust and someone that probably wouldn't judge you or tell you how you need to deal with your situation too much. Some people are very over-imposing when it comes to things like this. So if you're like that too, it's a lesson to you to not be too over-imposing. Point number 3 is create a tribute. So for this point, I don't know how you decide to deal with it, but sometimes for some people, they just do a little research. If you're very close to the person, you probably know what the person loves to do. So I've seen people that do like a charity organization where they open up funds where people can donate to, because the person probably was dealing with an ailment where they were very passionate about and they were trying to help people find a solution to it. But because that didn't happen, maybe you can come in and set up a fund that can either support the research or help people who are dealing with the same ailment. For some people, it's just doing something monumental, maybe mounting a statue to create remembrance for the person, and also a way that they can always see it and remember that that person was there and did some amazing things in their lives, just to always keep you feeling like the person is always around you, even if not in the physical, in the spirit. So if that would work for you as well, it's just pretty much knowing what the person loved and seeing how best you can project that so that you don't feel too bad, or help you heal through the process. The 4th point is take care of yourself. Now, if you've been in the process of grieving, I'm sure you also understand that sometimes it's very draining. The crying, the thinking, the sadness has a way of just weighing you down so much. And when you're going through that process, I understand sometimes you don't even want to eat, but it's also very important for you to take care of yourself and feel healthy. And so just take some time off. If you don't even feel like eating so much, maybe a simple soup can help you. Make sure you're feeding yourself, drinking water, and revitalizing, because we all need the energy, right? And I don't think the person would want to see you sick or also nearing towards death. So the most important thing mostly is to just make sure you're also taking very good care of yourself, because every loved one wants to make sure that even in heaven, they see you living healthy and taking very great care of yourself. 5th point is give it time. Anyone want to help you giving it time? Ajwa, I want to take this one.
I think we've spoken about how, time heals.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't really heal, but it definitely gives you a chance to adjust. So just look at it one day at a time.
Yeah.
Just take it easy. Take it easy on yourself. I mean, day by day, even about creating a tribute, you can decide to write personal letters to them every single day as your way of, expressing or just pouring out how you feel at that point in time. And I'm sure that, eventually, like we said, you'll find a way around it and you'll be able to see life again for what it is. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it for 5 things. And like I said, we spoke about 5 ways to process loss in a healthy way. I hope you learned something on 5 things today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Reggie.
You're welcome.
I think that was extremely insightful.
Very.
And since a lot of us is also at the age where a lot of these things are happening in our lives, it would be very, very beneficial to know how to process such loss, especially when it comes unexpectedly. You know, I think those are the biggest ones that shock the system when you least expect it.
Yeah.
So I think that was very helpful. So thank you, Reggie. On that note, let's go for a quick break. Let's sip some water, hydrate ourselves, get something to eat. When we come back, we wrap it all up here on the Lady Circle.
And we are back. This is still the Lady Circle, and this is the final lap of the show. Let's say a very big thank you to all of our sponsors, to MTN, to Yaz, Cousins, Dove, and to LA Perfumery.
All right, speaking about LA Perfumery, they want you to experience their world of scent with all their versatile perfume from the collection French Avenue brands, whether you prefer the freshness of citrus, the elegance of florals, the warmth of woods, exotic spices, of course, smoky richness when it comes to tobacco. Each perfume is designed to complement your unique style and personality. Now, if you have been noticing these beautiful specimens that have been on the table, these are the top-notch perfumes that they have on offer. Now, we've experienced some of it, and we absolutely love each and every scent. They match with our personalities, you know, bubbly, quirky. When it comes to Helen, I'm always thinking, you know, stats, so nerdy. It matches with each and every one of us. So once you walk in, no matter what you're looking for, you're going to find something that makes a statement, because nothing makes a bigger statement than when you walk in and they can smell you, not just see you and experience you, but they can smell what you are offering. Now, for bulk purchases, you can call LA Perfumery at 0544 910 447. I'm going to repeat that, 0544 910 447. And if you are social media savvy, you want to get them on Instagram _LA Perfumery. If you want to go and visit the store themselves and just see every single thing they have in stock, you want to go to Okainshi ground floor at the Dromo Plaza building, which is adjacent to Stanbic Bank on the Georgina Stores Lane. Let them know that the ladies of the Lady Circle sent you so they can give you a nice package. So we have influence. That's how we do. All right. So make sure you visit LA Perfumery for all your scent needs.
It's been a heavy evening. We've been reflecting, we've been mourning, all in a bid to heal. I think Yas could help us do that, okay? As we have spent this evening in a bit of sadness, something to attempt to perk up the mood as we chart the path forward. We're always grateful to Yas for supporting the Lady Circle. You've been a true ride or die. And so we're going to take this for ourselves. Commiserate, condolences to everybody, to all of us, to the entire nation. And we're always grateful, like I said, Yas, thank you so much. Maybe in times like this, you can put together a little Yas hamper for anybody that you know that is going through it. There's an array of products in here. Sometimes, you know, when you're mourning and grieving, you don't have time to go to the shops to buy your sanitary pads, to buy a toothbrush. You're probably not thinking about that. So here's an idea for all of us to come together, gift something useful to somebody today who's grieving or mourning.
All right, so a very big thank you to Yaz. Before we wrap it up, put it in a nice, beautiful bow. I think this has been such a good episode in terms of remembering our fallen heroes and being able to discuss some of these things are actually not discussed in a lot of homes. So we're hoping that with us being open and vulnerable, it's really helped someone and encouraged someone to open up and talk about whatever they're going through, especially if you're going through a serious loss or you're experiencing very, very hard grief. So we hope that it has helped. I would like to say a very big thank you to the people who put me together today. DOS Accra, they are located in Laboni. They had this beautiful dress. When I asked them for something for this episode, they got me this. So thank you so much for that. Hair code for my hair, as well as Nafisa for my makeup. Well, ladies, on that note, I think it is only appropriate that we once again wish condolences to all the families that have directly lost people, to every single person in Ghana, across the world, that had the privilege to interact with any of these souls. We wish you condolences, and of course the nation as well. Like they say, yen shedding, and hopefully we can band together to get through this very hard time that we're going through. But most importantly, it's their memories and what they stood for that we should never, ever forget. Well, on that note, from all the ladies of the Ladies Circle, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
The Ladies Circle, brought to you by Yaz Sanitary Pad, MTN.
Yas toothpaste and brushes.